G'day my friends, Sam here. I know we're back, another Yoga for Men series video. Don't be alarmed, class is for everyone, just between you and me. The name is a trick to get a few more men trying to practice yoga. So practice is absolutely everyone. I will, however, or I have, however, sequenced this practice leading towards a pose that I find men often struggle with, and that is splits. Hanuman. We're leading towards the splits. And if you're thinking, I'm going to throw my phone through the window, there's no way I can do the splits, that's great. I can't really do it myself, but we can lengthen the hamstrings and we can lengthen the front of the hips, and that's all we're really working on, playing with some balance as well. The blocks will absolutely come in handy for today's practice, as we're working with a lot of straight leg positions. The floor may be a little bit further away than you'd like it to be, so grab yourself some blocks, get in some comfy clothes, and when you're ready, we'll get right into it. So we're going to start right onto hands and knees today, just feeling our way into the body. And if that eventuates in the movements of cow-cat for you, then that's great. You can let the inhale lower the belly, pull the chest forwards, lift the gaze. You can let the exhale tuck the chin to chest, draw the tailbone under as you push a weight around. You can continue with that. We can get a little bit more creative. You can almost take inventory or stock over the body and notice what's feeling good, what needs a little bit more attention today. Just try to send a little bit of movement there. Keeping the breath super natural today. Just an inhale and exhale through the nose. If anything, try to let your exhales be a little more quiet today, or a little less effort, you could say. The quieter the exhale is, often the longer it takes, and if we can extend the out breath, you'll find almost a calming like effect as we slow that breathing down. Now, just in the next few breaths, after you've made your way through that free movement, we're going to start to make our way back to downward facing dog, so when it feels comfortable for you. Now, if you are a larger gent practicing yoga, often a standard size yoga mat may not be big enough for you. So when I, for example, am in a downward facing dog, my hands feel more comfortable when my fingers are off the edges of the mat. So just know that is okay. You're not necessarily confined to the four corners of your yoga mat. You can take up a little more space. You can just practice yoga on the floor if you like. So you come to downward facing dog, bend the knees as much as you need, but push with the hands to send the hips back. And then intentionally feel the tailbone tilt up towards the ceiling a little more length through the back of the legs, namely the hamstrings. Take a breath. Exhale is silent. And then we rise up high on the toes. It's a slow walk to the top of the mat. You get there with as much control as you can. If the hands need to lift along the way, fantastic. Now here's where I would suggest preparing your blocks. That's not to say that you'll need them, but if they're close by, you won't have to reach for them if ever you do need them. Take a halfway lift on the inhale. As you exhale to fold, take the hands to the back of the ankles. Imagine you're pulling the heels up to the ceiling as you draw the crown of the head towards the floor. Finding a little more space, a little more length, the back of the legs. Then release. Stay nice and heavy, bend the knees. We're going to roll up through standing. When we get there, be really indulgent. Take your time, take up space. When you feel the head stack on top of the shoulders, circle the arms out wide, reach them tall overhead, breathe in. Exhale, just let the arms fall down by the side. See if you can find comfort for a moment being still, doing nothing. Breathing gently, but standing proud. Shoulder blades drawing back, crown of the head reaching for the ceiling. The legs are strong. There's a lift of the kneecaps as you flex the quadricep muscles of the thighs. It's like a call to attention, rather than an option or a chance to check out. This is where we give our fullest. Take a breath. Let it go. Next inhale, circle the arms wide, reach them tall. Exhale, fold heavy over the thighs. Again, if your blocks are there, you could rest them underneath your hand. Inhale, halfway lift, let your spine lengthen. Now right foot's going to stay where it is. Pick up the left leg, extend it back longer than you would like to. Come towards a lunge, let the back knee drop down. This lunge is going to be fun. I myself find it really, really tricky. I myself am a man, so maybe if you're a man, you might find this tricky too. If you're a woman, you might find it tricky. Anyone might find it tricky. It's just tough, is what I'm trying to express. It's tough. So what we're going to do is lean the right elbow on the right thigh for a moment. And to start with, it's just resting there. Then we're going to reach the left arm up towards the ceiling. In a moment, we're going to try and rotate the torso to the left-hand side of the room. The legs are going to stay pretty much exactly the same. So we're going to slide the right elbow inside the right thigh, rotate the torso to the left-hand side of the room, and take the left arm over to the right-hand side of the room. So sinking right shoulder down, rotating torso to the left, reaching left arm over to the right-hand side of the room. This is lengthening through the left side of the obliques, left side of the torso, intercostal muscles. If you flex into your left glutes and let the hips sink a little further forwards too, you're going to get into the psoas, the hip flexors in the front of that left hip. Take a breath in. Stay for the exhale. If it's a lot on the shoulder, bend the elbow, just rest the hand to the base of the head. Let the elbow point up towards the sky. One last breath. And we gently let the torso rise, square chest to the front of the room. Send the hips back, start to straighten the right leg. So we want to think about the left knee moving backwards a fraction first before we straighten that right leg. So we're not moving forwards, you want to feel like that left leg is moving backwards. And with hands on floor or hands on blocks, whatever is there for you, lift the chest up, halfway breathe in. Exhale, bend the elbows, let your head get a little heavier. Now the leg does not have to be straight here. If your hamstring is tight, then bend the knee, but feel as though you are pulling that right heel back towards you. That's going to activate your hamstring a little bit more rather than just keeping this as a passive stretch, a little muscular activity. Never hurt anyone. Crown of head searches for right big toe. Right big toe moves towards the crown of the head. Take an inhale. And we slowly lift the chest. And come back towards a lunge, so rebend the right knee. Set the blocks off to the side. We'll come back to them later. We're going to come to downward facing dog. So ground the palms. Once you step back, we're going to take the left leg up towards the sky. So right leg stays, left leg rises. This is the same shape we just found. So we're lengthening the back of the right leg. And we're using the left glute to try and lift the left leg higher. And again, the leg doesn't have to be straight. Keep a bend if you need to. But feel the hands pushing into the floor. Take an inhale. Let it out. And soften the left foot down. Look forwards. We're going to roll forwards, find a plank position. Once you get there, push away from the floor, strong and stable. Grip the mat with fingertips. Wrap the biceps forward. Take an in-breath. Exhale, bends the elbows. We lower all the way down. Before we get comfy, we press straight back up. That's right. Take the push up and lower down. Roll the shoulder blades back, lift the chest, find cobra pose, breathe in. Exhale, drops the head. We tuck the toes as an option with a push up again. We come back to downward facing dog. Take one breath here, inhale. Exhale is silent. And we rise up high on the toes. We walk slowly towards the top of the mat. Remember, controlling every movement, every transition. Halfway lift is the inhale. Exhale, we fold. Then come up through standing. Be indulgent, be expansive as you rise. Exhale, arms drop down by the side. Call to attention. A chance to check in, one breath. Let it go. And then again we move. Inhale, climb the arms high. Exhale, diving forward. Halfway lift, we rise. Blocks again if you need them, place them underneath the hands. Left foot stays, pick up the right leg. It's moving back longer than you'd like it to as you come towards the lunge. Left elbow rests on the left thigh to start with. Right arm rises up towards the ceiling. We get comfortable here. Back toes are tucked under. Back glute, the right glutes, really firm and flex. I say glutes because there's three muscles there. Not just one butt cheek. There's the gluteus maximus, medius, and minius. We want all of those suckers working. Slide the left elbow inside the left thigh. Rotate the torso to the right hand side. Take the right arm over to the left hand side of the room. And maybe you just rest the right hand to the base on the back of the head. You point the elbow up towards the ceiling. We have 2 breaths here. Inhale fully. One more. Breathe in. And slowly we unravel. Wow, I find that one so tough. Let me know in the comments below if you do as well. Right knee moves backwards. And then we send the hips back, straighten the left leg. So again, it's not just a forwards movement. We want to find a length in that back leg as well. Toes flex towards you. Use the blocks where you need. Lift the chest high, breathe in. Exhale, bend the elbow. Finding a space that is comfortable for you, a space where you can fold, where the head can drop. Remembering the leg does not have to be straight. You bend the knee if you need to. If you are, you pull energetically the heel of the left foot towards you, activating the back of that left leg just a little more. And then we begin to rise back up, push the hands down, lift the chest. We'll come back towards the lunge, rebend the left knee, and then we set the blocks off to the side. We'll come back to downward facing dog, ground the palms. Once feet come back, this time the right leg is going to rise up towards the ceiling. Flex the toes towards the face. You push with the hand to send the hips back. Remember, left leg doesn't have to be straight. You can keep a bend in the knee, whatever is comfortable for you. Keep pressing with the hand. Take one last breath. And gently soften. Right foot down. Look forwards. We roll forwards. We find the plank. We keep all the strength we've got in the plank and carry that into a push-up. We bend the elbows until the chest finds the floor, and then we press straight back up. And as we lower down to the belly, we really actively roll the shoulder blades down, squeeze them together, and press through the feet as we lift the chest. Cobra pose. Bhujangasana. Inhale. Exhale, drop the head. And just press up onto hands and knees here. Send the hips back towards the heels. Searching for child's pose. As you come on down, let the head rest on the floor. Breath slows down. Find a little more length through the side body. I'm going to walk both hands over towards the left. Left hand grounds first, then interlace your right fingers over the left. You're going to push the left palm into the floor, pull the right hand back towards you, and pull it with vigor if you can. So you feel that stretch all the way up through the latissimus dorsi on the right hand side, connecting into the back of the arm as well. So arms moving in opposition, left arm pressing away from you, right arm pulling back towards you. Then releasing. Coming over to the opposite side. Right hand grounds first. Interlace left fingers on top. Push right palm away from you, pull left hand back towards you. Then we gently unravel. We're going to come back to downward facing dog. This time we're going to use blocks underneath the hands. It's going to give us more length of the arms. That will allow us to step the feet forwards a little more gently. We're going to try and step the feet forwards with the legs straight, or attempt to. So if you have the blocks on the second height and you press the heel of the hand into the back edge, gives you a little more stability. Stance is a little shorter, just a fraction. Right leg's going to rise up. Flex the toes towards the face. Lift high on the left toes. Take a breath in. On the exhale, try and swing that right leg through without it touching the floor. Sweep it, sweep it, sweep it, sweep it. And then ground the foot down. Nice work. Going to pyramid pose, so left foot steps in and up just a little. As you soften the foot down, left toes turn out on an angle just a little. Put the blocks on the higher side, lift the chest halfway. For your right hip moving back in space, left hip drawing forwards. Torso's in a halfway lift position. Take a breath. As you exhale, bend the elbows to fold over. So you put the blocks on whatever height you need to. Notice if you are tighter, your arms or your hands are going to try and push you away from the floor. Encourage the opposite action. Can you let your elbows bend? Can you let your torso move closer towards the floor? It may not feel comfortable, and that's okay. You just see what is available. Last breath. And we'll lift our chest back up. Step that left leg back a little. We're going to walk both hands over towards the left foot. So the toes are wider than the heels now. We're going to bend into the left knee. Try and sink the hips nice and deep as you lift the right toes off the mat. So if you were to look at the front leg, it's in the shape of Hanuman. It's in the shape of splits right now. It's nice and long, nice and straight. Right toes are flexing towards the face. That's the action we want to work on, the toes flexing towards the face. And you can use the hands wherever you need for support. Or you can reach them out in front of you and let them rise off the mat, really pressing in to the left heel to try and lift the chest. Just a couple of breaths here. One more. Nice work. See if you can do this next bit without using your hands. We're going to push through this left heel, come back towards a lunge at the front of the mat. Once the right foot grounds, lift the back heel and soften the back knee down. If you need support, more support underneath the left knee, you fold over the left edge of the mat to give yourself a little bit more support there. We're going to press the right hand down into the right thigh, squeeze the left heel in towards the bottom, and see if we can just draw the left heel in towards the bottom a little more. Now, we could take this deeper by switching the grip in the hand, but for today we just want to focus on stretching the quad without overcomplicating things too much. So as you draw that heel in, whatever amount it is, see if you can flex into the glutes of the left leg. Lifting the chest up, a little bit higher there. Last breath. And very mindfully, we're going to release that left leg. We're going to locate our blocks and we're going to prepare for our splits pose. When I say that, I don't mean that we're all going to get into the splits, right? This is a shorter practice, so it usually takes quite a long time to get into the splits. But we're just working towards a shape where we have one leg out in front of us and one behind us, and we're just going to see what happens. So take the blocks, put them on the higher side underneath your hands, shuffle the right leg out in front of you, and then think about your left knee just continuing to move backwards. So you tuck under the left toes, and you keep maneuvering the knee backwards, and you just see what space is available. Shuffling the blocks back so that the chest, the torso is remaining as upright as is possible. And we want the blocks to be there to help lift us, but we don't want to be relying on them to bear our whole weight. We want to feel the chest lift naturally. We want to feel the left toes tucking under and the right toes flexing towards the face. And then whatever shape you're in, just close your eyes and let yourself be there. It's not all supposed to be comfortable, right? We want to challenge ourselves. Take 2 full breaths. Last breath here. Nice work. Now shuffle slowly, left knee a little closer towards you, and see if you can take the right leg back to meet the left. Untuck the toes, sit the hips back on the heels, rest the palms down on the thighs, lift the chest. Moment for stillness. Notice whatever it is you're noticing, an obvious length in the front of the left leg, and a length in the back of the right leg. Soon we'll balance that out. But just give your body, your breath, a moment to return. It's all about the journey. Not what happens when we get there, but the journey along the way. Return the blocks. You're going to prepare for that straight leg step through here on the left-hand side. So find your downward facing dog. As you get there, left leg will rise up towards the ceiling. Toes flex towards the face. Then we'll lift up high on the right toes. Try to swing the left leg through. You might want to hike up that left hip a little bit. Really push into the palms as you bring the foot forwards. Maybe it hovers, hovers, hovers. Then you set it down. Back foot steps in and up, just enough. Put the blocks on the higher side. Try to square off the hips. The left hip moves back. Right hip draws forwards. Take an in breath. And on the exhale, bend the elbows. You're going to allow the head to drop. Feeling gravity do its work here. So not pushing away from the floor, letting yourself fall towards it. If you need to keep it bending the knee, that's great. Be really mindful, these are your legs. You want to do what's best for you. Last breath here. Slowly. We'll lift our chest up. I'm going to shuffle the right leg back a little. Come towards that side lunge, Skandasana, so toes are turning out wider than the heels. Right knee is bending this time as we lower down. Use your hands for support. Flex the left toes towards the face. Let them lift off the mat. Choosing to stay there with hands for support or reaching the arms out in front of you. But putting your mind in this left leg, flexing the quad, flexing the toes. Letting it be in the shape of splits pose. Last breath. And again, maybe without using the hands, push through the right leg. Come towards your lunge at the top of the mat. As the back heel rises, the back knee drops. Use support if you like by folding over the right edge of the mat underneath the right knee. We'll rest the left palm down on top of the left thigh. See if we can squeeze right heel in towards the bottom. Reach back and catch the knee. You're not overcomplicating it, just feeling the stretch in the front of the right quad. Firm in the right glutes. You can use your left hand to lift the chest up a little bit higher. Be okay if it's tight. Be okay if it's tense. Instead of resisting, can you breathe into that tension? Can you send a message to the body, letting it know that it's okay to relax? That you're in control. And you will do what's best for you. Last breath. And we want to gently release the foot. Locate our blocks as we prepare for our splits pose here on the left-hand side. Right knee is moving backwards as we straighten out the left leg. And both sides are not going to be even, so don't force your way or power your way into depth. Just little subtle incremental movements to find more space. Subtle incremental movements to find more space. Back toes are tucked under, left toes flexing towards the face. Blocks are trying to keep you lifted. Chest is light. Firm in the right glutes if it's available for you. Two more breaths. And as we work to come on out, right knee shuffles closer towards you first. We take the left leg back to meet the right. Once again, sitting hips back towards the heels, finding an upright seat, a chance just to be still. Perhaps legs feeling a little more even now. You may have noticed throughout a sense of frustration when you did come into those parts of the body that were tense and were tight. That resistance, that frustration is normal. The real practice comes when we move past that, when we acknowledge it without holding on to it. When we work to breathe through it, to see if we can find a sense of ease. And that ease may be fleeting, momentary. There's always an opportunity to find a space of ease, even during challenge. From here, very gently, I'm just going to set the hips onto the floor, extend the legs out long in front of us. Give them a chance to shake out for just a moment. Lots of work with the legs today. We're going to come down on to the back. Take the heels, set them down underneath the knees. I'm going to press up through bridge pose here, just to lengthen out through the front of the hips. We won't be here for too long. Maybe interlace the hands behind the back if that is available for you in this very moment. Last breath. And release the bind. Release the hips down. Coming towards one of my favorite supine twists, just to really undo a little bit of work in that hips and to really allow a sense of letting go. Cross the right thigh all the way over the left. Shuffle the hips towards the right edge of your mat and then spread your arms wide as you let your knees fall off to the left. And you adjust as much as you need so you feel both shoulder blades ground onto the mat. We really want to use our exhales strategically here. And the exhales are our chance to really let go of that tension. Feel the knees get heavier, the belly get lighter. Shoulder blades melt down towards the floor. We'll start to unravel the legs, bring the hips back through center. Start to shuffle, hips over towards the left-hand side this time, crossing left thigh all the way over the right, allowing knees to fall to the right-hand side of your mat. Again, use those exhales. Feel the softening. Mindfully unravel your legs as you set your hips back towards center. And just bend up the knees again, let the feet set underneath the knees, and then just shuffle the feet out a little wider. Let the knees knock together. If you can, for a moment, interlace your fingers, lift your head, and just cradle the back of your head in your hands. Bring the elbows draw towards each other, lifting the head off the mat, but let the head be really heavy. So it's just a length through the back of the neck. And you gently move left ear over towards the left shoulder a little bit more. Feel the length through the right side of the neck. And start to take right ear over towards the right shoulder. So it's subtle, it's gentle. We're not trying to reef the head up off the mat as much as we can. Just a gentle length. And you place your head back down. Extend our legs out nice and long. Prepare for Shavasana. Now the idea in Shavasana is to be still. To be with yourself, your thoughts, your breath, your body. The reason we practice the longer holds in the physical postures is so that the longer hold in stillness at the end of practice has a little bit more of that ease attached. As we allowed ourselves to move through the physical challenges, being at peace with our breath, trying to find a sense of calm even in the challenge. So that when we come here, we can truly release. Stay as long as you need. From me to you with thanks. Peace.